Hello. Just when you think things are crazy, you see that it's getting worse. I just got a news flash from WABC, 770 AM on the radio. Gerard Lee Loughner, accused in the mass shooting that wounded Republican Gabrielle Giffords, is not mentally competent to stand trial, a federal judge in Arizona ruled. Loughner earlier in the day had a loud outburst in the court and was dragged away by authorities. He is charged with killing 6 people and wounding 13 more in January while Giffords was holding a meet and greet with his constituents. And essentially what we have here is an amazing concept. It's very similar to the Hinkley deal. In order to impress Jodie Foster, Mr. Hinkley shot Reagan, Mr. Brody, and a Secret Service man. Really screwed up a lot of people. And what do you know? Within a couple of years, he was on like a release program so he could have Thanksgiving with his family. Isn't that nice? After he almost killed Ronald Reagan. Now, a lot of you people really didn't give a damn about Ronald Reagan, so I guess it didn't matter that he shot Hinkley shot Ronald Reagan. But in any event, this is what's going on. And you would think that the act of murder itself is kind of an insane act, and the mere fact that someone would take another person's life, you would think that that in itself would be deemed, if you want to talk about, pleading insanity, that in itself would be a pretty good justification for claiming that. So now we have the guy who took out a congresswoman who will never be the same again. And so Republican Representative Gabrielle Gifford is totally screwed up. As much as you might want to say that she's going to make a comeback, she's not going to. This Jared Loughner apparently had a lot of issues. The police knew about him. They never did anything about him. And so it looks like he's going to, get... he definitely won't face the death penalty. Of course, a lot of you people think that's too cruel and unusual. But the fact that he killed 6 people, nameless people, at this point, most of you don't know who the hell they are, or do you care? Wounded 13 more. I don't know if you remember this, the case in, I think it was a Wendy's or some fast food place in New York where the guy tried to kill everybody. He was robbing the place because he didn't want any witnesses. That's very common. And the one person survived. Okay? And I don't think that this person who tried to kill everybody, not to have witnesses, I don't think he faced the death penalty. And, as a society, the fact that we can let these people commit these heinous crimes and not put them to death is mind-boggling. So we're going to spend all kinds of money to keep this guy alive while other people are starving in this country, trying to get medical care, whatever, food, shelter, heat. This guy's going to be taken care of for life, and if he plays his cards right, he can be much, much better. He can get out like Hinkley. I mean, after all, he's cured. I mean, he was mentally ill. And now he won't be mentally ill because he'll take the right medications. And he has to promise, of course, to take those medications so he can get out. It seems to me, and I've said this before, that if you're in a state of mind that you're not responsible for what you're doing because of that state of mind, you shouldn't be out in the public unless you're willing to sign a document saying that you're waiving your constitutional rights, and that if you do kill somebody while you're enraged or upset or whatever, emotionally disturbed, that you will face the death penalty, that you will face capital punishment. That's if you choose to roam around in society and you make that choice. Anyhow, I think this is reprehensible. I think as a society that the fact that this guy's got some emotional issues, he's yelling and screaming. You don't know if he was told to do that by his legal counsel. You show you're crazy. Your best defense, just show you're a raving maniac. And that's apparently all you have to do. Apparently that's all you have to do. You know, maybe the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever, might have the right idea. Maybe as a nation we're too weak. We're too weak to survive because we don't have the resolve to deal with people, animals, in a way that we should deal with them. And I know we'll hear the same thing. We don't want to be as bad as these people. We don't want to have cruel and unusual punishment. What's happening in California now, they're going to release 30,000 people, and apparently when they first started thinking about who to release, they didn't care if these people were dangerous or not. They were ready to let them go. And of course, they can always rearrest them. You know, they can retry them. Build more jails. They should have that Joe, whatever his name, down in Arizona or whatever, take these people in and give them a good deal and save the taxpayers of California a lot of money. That's what they should do. And then if they want to build their facilities again up in California so that the court doesn't force these people to be released. I mean, in theory, if enough people went totally crazy, they couldn't keep everybody. How's that? Anyhow, I'm very upset that this has taken place. This Jared took out an elected official, circumvented the will of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, or at least hundreds of thousands of people, and nullified it. And essentially, he had enough ability to write letters and communicate. And I think he was on the internet, so he had computer skills and all that. All right. So this is not the case of some guy with an IQ of 20 not being able to cope and doing something dumb. This guy is a calculated son of a bitch, and you gotta have a new bill called Gabrielle's Law or something, and really take a look. Take a look at this, and that's it. By the way, I just put in total of 12 blueberry bushes, and I got my first of my 5 pear trees in. Got some peat moss, mixing it and sifting it in with the dirt. Hopefully it'll work out. I'll do that tomorrow. I'm pooped. Played some tennis, so I'm limping around, but it was a good game today. Anyhow, folks, eat your vegetables and get involved. You know, make a statement. Don't be afraid to either speak up or write a letter to the editor. I know most of you are in fear of doing this in the freest country in the world. You're still afraid to make a statement, write a letter to the editor, which shows a lot about what you learned in school and what the status of the United States is as far as our fortitude. You know, I really get a kick out of the people who said the Europeans or the Catholics or the Catholic Church did not do enough to save the Jews during World War II. And I contend that if they were going after Jews in the United States today, that we would do less in the United States to save the Jews in the safest country in the world than in a place like Germany, where they would take your whole family and wipe them out to make an example out of you. The fact that anybody rescued anybody during World War II, to me, is an amazing thing. And those people who did should definitely be praised and given the credit that they deserve. And the people who chose not to put themselves in harm's way should not be vilified. You know, if I was married and had a family and all that, I don't think I'd put my family at risk. If I was single and didn't have family for retribution, yeah, I would take a risk for someone else, even if it meant my death. But if you think that I'm going to jeopardize, or people would jeopardize their kids, their wife, their husband, to help somebody else, you need a reality check. And like I said, here in the United States, no one will speak up about anything. There's a few people write a letter to the editor, and on a good day they might post something on the internet. But as far as committing to a letter to the editor or a YouTube, it seems like we're very few people willing to do that. And I feel that if you can't do that, then if you're worried about dying, or you're worrying about getting rubbed out because you say the wrong things, you're really not living a full life. And I'll go back to Mubarak, who we all laugh at and call this terrible dictator. But when we needed him during the Persian Gulf War, and he was helping us go after Saddam Hussein, and I said this in various YouTubes, Saddam Hussein told Mubarak, "You're a dead man." And Mubarak responded when the newspaper asked him what he thought about that. He said, no one lives forever. And I thought that was a pretty courageous thing. But you can't find him saying that, at least I haven't, anywhere on the YouTube. And I think that's worthy for people to see, that we're just not talking about a guy who was in it for totally for himself. So I'm not saying the guy's a saint, but he kept peace. He kept his deal with Israel on the peace treaty, and now we have the Muslim Brotherhood, or the Brotherhood of Muslims, or whatever, in Egypt taken over, and now we have Obama telling Israel they gotta bend over and take it. Very, very interesting. Okay, that's it. We have a decadent society. And we will let this Gerard guy get a pretty free ride. And no one really, apparently doesn't care. I'd like to see some outrage, just a little bit of outrage. But, you don't see outrage. All you know is that we got to see who's going to win Dancing with the Stars. These are real issues, okay? Now, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Whatever. I mean, please. American Idol, Survivors. I mean, this is really important stuff. Really. I mean, it's, life and death. Well, have a good day and eat your greens, okay?